how to do it.
We're back. We are back, and we got all our sound effects going. Good evening, good night, good day, good bonjour, wherever you are. We are back on our usual platform in our own home where we can fart, we can curse, we can drink, we can say all the inappropriate and all the real shit.
That's right.
That's not to say we didn't appreciate Ben's hospitality, but it's always good to be at home where you can be in your underwear and, you know, living
your
up
own
life.
bed.
That's
Your own
right.
bed, some of us, you know, and drinking as much as we want. So welcome again, ladies. We're back, and this is our 70th podcast. I cannot believe it, ladies. And,
Nice.
you know, I have
We
to
are
say
doing the damn thing.
We really are.
I mean, like, we are almost 2 years old, people. Almost
Oh
2
my
years old.
goodness.
I know.
Shit, I don't think I've ever done anything longer than a year. No, just kidding.
I know, not even a relationship. Hey, lady. I'm just saying,
My
I'm having it with two
longest
women. Oh my God, we're going on. But before I get any further,
it's a Janina and Andrine sandwich, and it's a good thing.
Yes, apparently so. You know, Andrine, you and I got so close and comfortable. At the US Open.
I've gotten close with both of y'all. I had a little Janina time in Cincinnati.
But that is true. Andrine is making the rounds, people. So.
God help the world when the three of us are all in the same room.
Listen,
I know.
that's
Fans, get up on
gotta be
there.
the
Okay,
plan.
Andrine is free and easy. Okay, Burditch, Monfils, just so you know.
That's great.
So let's have Andrine from Solely Tennis Travel.
Hello, y'all.
And the Kato Kalin of podcast with a brand new picture, I see.
It's so the same picture. What are you talking about? Did
I thought there was some hotness happening. What? No, it's still the same gorgeous.
It's the same
Still
one.
gorgeous.
Janina, from all the way from foreign Cincinnati. No, Ohio, you see?
Are you healthy now, babe? Are you healthy?
Yes.
Okay, so honestly, no, but I'm getting there. I did finally go to the doctor and got a proper diagnosis and proper medication, and I'm on the road to recovery.
And you can talk and you're not coughing in my ear.
Yeah, she's like Burditch in the appendicitis. Miraculous recovery.
Well, don't even start with that.
We're going to get there. Back off.
She was coming for my Twitter wig, telling me some shit.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
Let's talk about the tennis that we didn't watch.
Look, I'm going to be 100 as always. I'm going to be reals with you, ladies. I mean, there has been, unfortunately, I'm going to frame it in this manner. I think the men had 6 tournaments? Women had like 8 tournaments.
No, the women seem to have had a lot. Yeah, the women felt like they had a ton.
They had a couple. I think one of the reasons why it felt like a lot is that they had several 125, whatever that little scrubbers, wenches, whatever. WTF, please. For fuck's sake, fix this shit, okay? You see, the ATP got a name for it. You know, we could say ATP Challengers, ATP Satellites, ATP 250, ATP 500, ATP Masters, and Grand Slams.
That's it.
I don't even know what the fuck is going on. You got Premier Event, Premier Light, Premier with 500. Look, I can't even do it. Anyway, there is a tournament where only winches go, okay? Where nobody really know their names,
Wait, is this the tournament that Anna used to go to?
Don't know.
Anna Ivanovic?
Actually, it is that tournament that
she pulled out.
You're getting
she's doing better now.
It's not the right Serbian. It's Yankovic used to go play a lot of those tournaments. There's one in Quebec. I think Venus showed up at one point.
Yes,
and there's one in China, and there's another one someplace else. And I think Pliskova, the other Pliskova
won that one. Yeah.
Yeah, she won 2 actually. She won one in Quebec, and she just won the recent one somewhere. I don't even know where it was.
And how many of those matches did you watch?
Tashkent. Oh my God. Can I reveal? This is so sad. So last night I decided, you know what? I should probably start getting to watch some tennis again. So I turned on Burditch versus Yuri Vesely. That's what it was. It was a semifinal. And no joke, I watched like maybe a couple games, and then I just pulled up my phone and started reading. Like, and at some point in time. I was like, wait a minute, was I just doing something? I
It
was
was
like,
so
yeah.
compelling, right?
Oh,
Like it was.
so I'm
And
gonna
it was
tell you a
good.
little
Yuri,
bit true.
but Yuri's coming for Burdich's wig. He keeps trying. He almost because he was up a break in the third set. But which
So I
Burditch
had
quickly righted that
I have
ship.
a similar confession.
Did you?
Okay, so what had happened this morning was that I was watching the Gasquet versus Burditch final, and then I saw Gasquet broke him, and then got his life together and won the tie break, and then I don't know what had happened, but it's just like I just stopped caring because I was like, one, I know Gasquet is gonna fuck it up in the third set for sure, and then I was just like, I'm like, why am I watching this? Who really cares?
You didn't apparently, Janina.
Well, my confession is I didn't even turn it on. I didn't even look for tennis.
I did watch Mugaruza lose a couple times.
I didn't watch that either.
Okay. Yeah, like full confession,
check on that girl.
That. I saw the Dominika Sibylkova.
Was there anything to watch? Because apparently
the Petra beating. I turned on. I was like, let me just catch up. Let me just catch this one. I enjoyed Dami, and I think
Petra was just pelting blows. Apparently,
she beat her up. I mean, she was unconscious by the end, I think.
Let me just say, you know what? Congratulations, Petra, because as we all know, and you clearly confirmed it, that you have no interest in being consistent throughout the year. You have just showed up for that one match for the year. So this is your last year was Madrid. Today it is Wuhan, and this year, a couple of years before, it's been Wimbledon. So Petra, good on you, girl. You came on late,
and it's perfect because Wuhan plays fast, right? They say it does. They say most people, for some reason, it plays. The people who do well at Wimbledon tend to do well there. I guess the surface is quite fast.
Venus.
Yeah. Apparently the surface is quite fast. So I think that's probably.
And Muguruza got to the final last year as well.
So
she was mysteriously injured.
I don't think I saw one Wuhan match.
You didn't? I saw some.
I'll let you know. There are a lot of people who can claim that, even people who live in Wuhan, because ain't nobody showing up.
Nobody showed up. I understand. Yeah.
But you know what? I have a theory. I have a pet theory about why Petra was doing well in Wuhan. I think
her belly's back.
Well, not that, but okay. But you know how Petra is being managed by IMG now, and you know how Petra, they also tried to create this scenario where Petra and Lena are best friends.
I saw her hanging out with a cardboard cutout of Lena.
Yeah, but towards the end of the end of Lena's career, IMG decided that it was time to frame Petra as like an extension of Lena in some weird way. Like, they're best buddies. They're awesome. She's the next blonde in tennis. That whole thing. So I felt like Petra had a lot of reasons to show up this past week, because IMG was like, girl, get it together. Make sure that you can grow your Asian base by winning this title. And that was my sense of it. I was like, Petra had everything kind of fell in line. She had all the motivation, some extra cash, possible growing her fan base a little bit. So I feel like she had a storyline around this tournament that was going to allow her to do well. And she just looked like she was ready. And, I don't know, maybe there weren't any guys around. So,
plus, she was focused. Plus, all those other women who were claiming, it's our time to shine now. Serena's not. is absent.
Hello, Simona.
So
poor Simona.
Poor Simona. I am so over Simona. I'm about to put her on the same bus as fucking Petra.
Are you?
Yes.
You know what?
Truth be told,
I will buy a ticket for Petra bus before I buy a ticket for Simona. I just would.
I might be right there with you.
Well, no,
I'm not going in any of those queues, voluntarily. But I'm just saying, between a rock and a hard place, gun to my head, and I'm told which bus do you want to get on, I'm gonna get on the Petra bus.
No,
depending on where it is. Not Melbourne, not US Open. It's gonna be too hot over there.
Well, you just have to decide. It depends on the season, right? With the right occasion, you can get on a Petra bus. Because if it looks like it's going to do things, then you're like, shit, I'm going to be on this bus for a while.
Exactly.
With Simona.
And then she gets in that place where you're just like, why isn't this girl solidly in the top 5?
You know what? You know what's so funny? I don't even ask those questions about Petra anymore, because you know when I stopped asking that question, remember early, what was it, like late 2011, maybe 2010, everybody thought that Petra and Vika were going to emerge.
2011. It was in 2011.
Yeah, it was like they were going to emerge as the next new sort of like rivalry. And
Yeah,
be
because
awesome.
Petra won the year in championship.
Yeah, and they had some great matches, and you're like, yes. Mm-hmm. And then, Petra just became Petra, the Petra we all know. And I was like, oh, well, you know what? That's okay. I mean, I don't have a problem with this. She's occasionally brilliant. And that's all you're going to... She's like a Safin without the interesting personality. You know what I mean?
Uh-oh. Okay. Well.
And less crazy politics, too.
Well, but you know how people say, and it must be admitted that on a good day, Safin understood that he could beat the best of the best. And he has. And then he just didn't do anything else. And he never really had to. So I feel like Petra is going to lead it all the way.
I think because Petra was, Safin was in an era where domination didn't matter.
It didn't. You didn't care that much. Yeah, you're like,
to secure your legacy.
It was like, who's going to win this week? And that was totally normal.
Exactly.
But that's not normal anymore.
I think Adley Murray didn't get that memo either.
No.
He was still reading the old copies of ATP files. You know what I mean? No Tino shades.
Anyway, so I think we probably jumped quite ahead. But live tennis has not live, but watch tennis hasn't been happening much for me. I will confess.
Let me just say this. I mean, there is no compelling reason to watch it. I mean, there's no compelling story, There are compelling reasons if you're a diehard fan, like we should be. But I mean, there is no race for number one. There's just nothing. I mean, at Serena stayed in the WTA, and then it could have been like, will there be a tussle for the end of year ranking for number one between her and Angelique? No,
not really.
Serena was just like, I don't really care about that. I'm out. I'm gonna get myself healthy. No, they decided, well,
wait, yeah.
Let's back up a little bit.
Back up. Yeah.
Let's so we pretty much just covered the women.
Well, let's do the tours. So let's do the tournaments.
So we had
results that we didn't watch.
Right.
Well, I did watch one thing.
What did you watch?
I watched Zverev and Wawrinka.
Oh yes, how was that?
I did see part of that. I did.
Okay, so it was typical because here we have the reigning U.S. Open champion who had just come off a big win, lose a 250 event. I mean, that's what he does, right?
Yeah.
That's what he does. It was nice to see.
At least he lost it in the final and not in the first round.
This is true.
Usually, yeah.
He's slowly making progress in that
matter. So let's give him a round of applause. Is it just me or the clap is louder than usual?
It's because the clappings, they were missed.
but honestly though, you both saw it. What happened? Did he just go away?
Stan went away. Yeah.
Okay.
Stan went away. Sasha hung tight and he won. I mean,
I love it. I kind of love that Sasha, I love that Sasha got his first title right across Stan. It's nice to pop cherries, and this is what Stan does, and he's allowed Zverev to get one, and I think that's great.
Yep.
That's really nice.
Yeah,
I mean, that's nice.
And it's good for him to get a win over someone
like the Grand Slam champion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Fresh off.
Because you know what, he really fucked up against Nadal when you face that, and that kind of thing could get in your head, thinking,
Indian Wells.
I cannot compete with these top guys, and you need that kind of hunger because back in the day, it was young men who were dominating the tour, not grandfathers. You know what I mean? Not daddies are,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It warmed my heart when I got up and I saw Janina's tweet about the fact that Stan lost to 250, and I was like, oh, it felt good that Stan had remained unchanged in some way, because I was like, we were having these conversations about big four, big fives, and it was getting really annoying. And then I was like, and then I got up and I saw that he lost the 250 final, and I was like, well,
all is right in the world.
The world stays the same.
Exactly. So all this talk of big three and a big four and big five, as always, that as Donald Trump said, that is not worth the paper it is printed on. Those journalists are not worth the ground they're standing on. Okay.
So and then Pui took team out.
Yes.
Which was lovely. Good to see.
And then team still complaining. I'm tired. I'm really tired. But you know what? See me next week.
Yeah. He's got a very heavy schedule this fall, so I expect him to be tired for the next 2 years.
Well, this is great because then he can come to the World Tour final and be fully exhausted and be done by the second day. But anyway, so
yeah, he's gonna be ready a couple of years ago. And
but those were two newbies, right? Two brand new. These were the first time winners.
Well, no, then we had the Russian named Karen who got his first title.
Yes, Karen. Yes,
Kovawa or something in there.
You know, all I know about Karen. Yeah, all I know about Karen was what I saw of him in Barcelona. He was doing really well in the clay, and then he disappeared, and now he's back. Yeah, so good for him. Good for him.
Congrats.
So next gen is doing their thing.
Trying
in this part of the year, apparently. Good for them. And then we had Birdie win a Bird Trophy.
Oh, that's so great! I forgot Birdie was playing, and then it's so nice to have him. You know what he's doing? You know what Birdie likes to do? Solidify that World Tour final spot.
Hey, get in there, Tomas.
Because the money is good, even just for parent, just being present, please. Gives you like $100K, okay?
So,
but he defended his title, dudes. That was his. I didn't know that. I forgot.
I didn't either.
Last year. Well, you know what? Because he won in Shenzhen and then got his ass handed to him by Nole in Beijing, right?
Oh, that's what it was.
I don't remember.
Because somehow I felt like he had lost it. It's like, what?
That's what it was.
My problem with Asia is that I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
And I just don't watch matches that I know the outcome to. Like, I'm not going to watch the replay. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I can't bring myself to do that. So, I mean, typically I get that US Open hangover anyways, even though it's been, a month since it's been over, where I don't want to watch tennis right after a major ever. I never do. We just need a break. It feels like so much for 2 solid weeks. But when this Asian swing comes around, I mean, damn, it's rough. For me, it's probably not so bad for you. But like,
I saw
don't
Remy,
even start until midnight here.
I saw
it's
Remy
midnight when it starts.
Being excited, be like, yeah, all my favorite ATP and WTA players are gonna be in the same time zone at the same time, and I'm so excited because they were somewhere in Russia, somewhere in like part of China, then somewhere in Japan. But now I think they're all gonna be the same area. Plus, that Europe is already 7 hours ahead of us,
right?
It's less rough for them as it is for us.
It is so rough for me.
It's fine for me because it's like it's funny. It's actually prime viewing
because at 9 o'clock.
It's about 9 o'clock, and I was like, okay, which means I have no defense for not watching.
Exactly, no excuse. Okay?
I'm fired. I'm sleeping. I get up and it's still on sometimes, and I might catch like 2 or 3 games before I go to work, but then that's it. However, let us talk about Mr. Tomas Berdych and the appendicitis fit that Reels had on Twitter today.
Oh my God, you did? You did? What did you do?
Look, okay, let me just be 100. Tomas put out some tweet, I'm sorry, guys, I'm not going to be able to show up at the US Open because, I got appendicitis. I got to go get an appendectomy. No,
he didn't say that. Stop it right now.
He was going to go look for a doctor.
That's where I'm calling you out. But go
on. What did he say?
He said he was going to go. He said he was going to consult a doctor.
He said that this is what happened at the when he lost in Cincinnati. He said, I have been diagnosed with appendicitis and I'm going back to Europe for treatment. And then he of himself in the hospital. He then tells us he did not have to have surgery and that he was going to be back on tour now.
He said he got to pull out of the US Open because of this.
Because he had appendicitis. So let us in the
then he go up in the hospital, lay up on the bed.
Zip it. The reason I think why you're so upset is because when Rafa had appendicitis, he had to have surgery. But let us just take a
But why would I be upset?
Because you're saying he wasn't that sick. That's what I'm hearing from you.
I don't know.
But let us talk.
I don't know if you're aware of this. I didn't even believe Rafa had appendicitis to begin with.
I know you didn't believe it, but I know that's where this is all coming from. But anyways, we need to discuss a little bit. I'm about to school you.
I know what you're going to tell me, and I actually know this for real.
What are you going to tell me? What am I going to tell you?
I actually did some research back when Dividal tried to tell me some bullshit. He got appendicitis, and he's going to not go see a doctor right then and there. He's going to go keep on playing and then go back home to get a doctor. That's what my problem with Dividal's story was. And again, like Dividal, Tomas tweeted out some picture in the hospital bed. Like Bartoli, you see, I don't believe players when they try to tell me from the hospital bed because that's some prop to get some movie friend to hook up for them. But anyway.
But you need to have a little bit of perspective of what actually happens when you have appendicitis.
Yes, I am very much aware that there is a school of thought within medicine that is a new school of thought that particularly in America. America, as soon as you say appendicitis, they're ready to go in and take it out. But there's been new school of thought that, that you don't necessarily have to do that. Surgery should be the very last option. There have been new treatments in order to just, I guess, deal with the swelling or whatever the case may be and stop it from rupturing.
So appendicitis actually is when your appendix becomes inflamed and filled with pus.
Right, exactly.
The problem
and it could burst and rupture and poison your bloodstream.
But if it's caught early enough, the first line of defense is antibiotics.
Right.
So obviously that's what Burditch did. My problem is not so much that what he did, it takes me back to Rafa, because if you are diagnosed with appendicitis, that's what it means. Your appendix is inflamed, it's filled with pus, it causes a lot of pain, and it can erupt. And if it does erupt,
and physical activity is strongly discouraged.
If it does erupt, then basically all this infection goes into your bloodstream, and it can be life-threatening because you can become septic.
Mm-hmm.
So my problem is not, I have zero issues with what happened with Burditch. He was diagnosed with appendicitis. He went back to Europe. He got treatment. He needed probably some time to rest and heal, and he's back. To me, that makes perfect sense. What doesn't make sense to me is Rafa was diagnosed with appendicitis, decided to continue and play through it, then have to have surgery. So therefore, it was beyond the point of being treated with antibiotics, and he had to have surgery, and he then decided to play. That's an issue. I don't think anything that Burditch did is an issue. I think what Burditch did follows the medical course of treatment to the T.
Logical medical course of treatment, you mean?
What's the difference? What did I say that you disagree with?
No. I said logical. What Burditch did follows logical course of medicine. Because oftentimes, every DivaDal condition I've ever heard about and followed has defied all medical convention that I'm aware of. Yes, DivaDal fans, you could come and tweet below, hey, you ain't no fucking doctor, Reals. It's just Reals, period. Not Reals, MD. You're goddamn right. But you know what? Reals can read, and Reals do research. And you see, none of them, and I'm sure none of you who can come for me are a doctor. My problem with Burditch is that Burditch is laying up in some hospital bed trying to act like if he had major surgery and all that shit, and then come on with this trophy. There is a picture of Burditch on the hospital bed.
Wait,
he
listen.
Look like he's dying. He's laying there in sweatpants.
Yeah, he's not really. But listen, you all understand how this works. You've been to school. You need a doctor's note.
You have to.
You need a doctor's note.
And in this day and age, you have to have a picture to show you got treatment.
Yeah, and if you want to pull out of a major slam, you need to take a damn picture, and you need to come with a doctor's note.
You don't need to. You don't. I
mean, I don't think you have to, but people clearly feel like they need to.
They question it if they don't see.
Right.
You sick.
Actually, the only thing you need a doctor's note for is the ATP 100. ATP 1000. Sorry, you need a doctor's note for that.
Well,
Grand Slam, you can pull out if you want to. You don't have to.
Yeah, and you get fined.
Yeah,
no, you don't get fined. You get fined for ATP 1000.
Nobody cares about the slams, apparently. No, Burditch was just wanting to let us know that he didn't want to let down U.S. Open fans, and the only reason why he wouldn't show up at a Grand Slam, an important slam, is because he needed to be in the hospital, and so he took a picture of himself there. That's okay.
Who that? I'm sorry. who are those U.S. Open fans for Burditch?
Burditch has a fan base. I mean, I think I saw them at the Australian Open. What are they called?
Is that the same fan base who's going to be voting for RBA? Are they the same?
Stop. Okay. So let's move on.
Does that Venn diagram, did it intersect somewhere? Because
let's move on from the appendicitis.
Maybe 100 here. I didn't hear a single soul say, you know what? Not even a single comment in to say, I was missing here. Burditch could have been, making some damage here because there's no Federer here. It's like, no.
Burditch doesn't make damage unless Federer is there. Come on, get it right.
Well, I mean, you know what though? It was actually, I mean, at the time, it was a missed opportunity for Burditch, right? I mean, he could have definitely gotten to a second week, which he generally does. So there was no reason why he wouldn't have gotten to a second week at some level, because nothing was really happening with any of the players.
Well, I mean, my point in closing on the appendicitis topic is I don't see anything shady about what happened with Tomas Burditch. Nothing. I think it was completely normal in the way that it probably should have happened. That's it.
All right.
Reels is always shady, and Reels just say, you know what?
So anyways,
I'm just saying, a lot of times for me, generally, I'm skeptical about a lot of ATP and WTA.
Well, see, and you're the reason why they got to take their damn picture in a fucking hospital.
Exactly.
And that's my problem. See, when you take a picture, that's what I'm even most suspicious.
You want to see people
when
on
you're
their
there sick and dying, you're like, you know what? Make a
please.
Wait, he needs like the doctor's note. I need you to stop, okay? You're too much.
No, I need to see those charts. I need to see the
Oh
charts.
my god!
I don't even need a doctor's note because
just maybe Fancy Bears will get it for you.
No, you know what? No faith anymore. Exactly. No faith. He has no faith.
Exactly. So TUE's bullshit because apparently I thought all legit. Okay.
He's afraid. He's afraid everyone's going to Bethany Maddox as his doctor.
Absolutely. So
the doctor who then comes out and be like, well, you know, I'm not
wait, come on now.
So apparently Kei Nishikori can get more people at his practice sessions than the whole tournament of Wuhan can get at a match.
Ooh.
It's not just that, but you know what though? I have to
hold on, Andre. I gotta lay down my edges. I gotta lay down my edges.
Listen,
where's the pomade?
Well, listen, there's no reason for that to be shocking, right? I mean, China. But China doesn't. Wait, China doesn't have a champion, and Japan does. Like, I mean, you just hope that China is like a champion that'll like have people show up at the matches. I mean, they're hoping for the Li Na turnaround. You know, that's like a 5-10 year plan they got going. But I'm very glad.
9,000 people.
But see, this is what I told you. What did I say? I said if Kei had made it to the U.S. Open final, I would have found my way to that final. But once it was Stan and Novak, I was like, well,
I was there when he made it to the finals the last time around, and Kei didn't do shit.
No, but what I'm saying is that more people would have watched it.
Oh yes. I can confirm. I can confirm Japan was there in full force.
Exactly.
They weren't noisy, but you know what? They were there. They were ready.
They were stunned by the badness of his play. But no, I saw that 9,000 people. I was like, that's good shit though. That's what you want. But you know what's so funny? But listen, for all the talk of improving the sport, that's all you need.
Doing the damn thing.
You don't need to change it. You don't need no new technology. You just need people they care about. That's it.
That's one person dominating the shit. If it's one person dominating the shit, they gotta be lovable.
But that's the thing. It's like you've got Kei, and that tells you that's all that matters. If you don't have local stars that people are passionate about, nobody's like. It's the same thing with Andy Murray. Andy Murray can get people out in the UK. Kei can get people out in Asia and other places. That's all it is. All this,
and we can't say anything.
Oh, it's annoying.
We can't say anything bad about Nishikori. Like, have you ever heard a negative thing about him? Ever?
Except for Rafa fans. No,
I mean like in the media or anything.
No.
No one ever says anything about him. They might question some showers or whatever, but that's whatever.
And his tactitudes, but yeah.
You never see nasty, snarky things from a
my favorite word.
Well, you know what? They probably are, but we just don't understand it. I don't know what I mean.
Well,
that's the question. The question is, how is he covered in Japanese press? You know what I mean? Like, how is
that's
he?
True.
I do know when he was making his way up. When he was making his way in 2014. 14, right? Yeah, 2014 when he was making it to the final. I mean, they had a booth set up for him. There was
exclusively at the US Open.
Yeah, I think there was an English guy who spoke fluent Japanese, and he was in the middle and. There's
a whole cottage industry around Kei, okay?
Exactly. And the truth be told, Kei brings in more money from Uniqlo than Djokovic.
Of course he does. It's his home.
Way more money too.
Okay,
Yeah,
this is the,
I mean, his
the
content is
alert.
more.
This is the alert. Let me just say, as an aside, the 9,000 people practice at Kei's practice illustrates our main contention as a podcast. That if you don't invest in local people and have people who look like you playing tennis, sound like you playing tennis, or from your country playing tennis, nobody is going to care. That's just what it is. That's all it is. So it's like, why is it not getting any traction in the US? Because you know what? Let's look at all the top sports in the US. You know, the one thing you can say about them, very diverse. You don't gotta beg for a person of color in them. You just don't. You know, there's flavor to the room, right? So when you're looking around, you gotta, like in Spain, people showed up they watch Muguruza. They don't even like women's tennis, and they stuck around just to watch them move.
She's not even a real Spaniard.
That was their girl.
That was their girl. So that's all it is. It's just local talent driving a market. Everybody keeps wanting like a Federer because Federer was transformational. Like he crossed all kinds of markets, but that was unusual, really, you know? So really, you need local talent driving your tournament. That's all that's going to count. That's what's going to do it. And the only reason why it's not happening in China right now is Li Na's retired. Give them a 5-year cycle or 10-year cycle, and that they might be filling up Wuhan. Unless Li Han crashes and burns, because I don't really know what Max and his ilk really care about building tennis, but there's a lot of cash there, so maybe their integrity will flip that script. But
Wuhan, I'm just like Wuhan. I saw most school children outside, and I saw people watching tickets. And I'm just saying,
it's also apparently far away, right? It's far away.
Yes, I understand that. I think Courtney made that explicitly clear. I don't know if she said it here. I may have listened to one of her podcasts and she discussed that you know that the from the central business district where the city is to Wuhan is kind of like problematic, and then you need a bus. And I get that. I get that it needs to grow, but Wuhan people give some school children goddamn free tickets. Yeah, they will be screaming, even if they're not paying attention. And you build it up because I mean there are
like they did in Istanbul. Don't tell me all those people paid for those tickets in Istanbul for the World Tour final. You remember? Listen, remember when they were? Remember when they were?
I don't want to wear wig tomorrow.
Y'all got me stashing right now. I don't want to wear wig tomorrow. Come on. You remember when the WTA finals was in Istanbul? Don't tell me all those people showed up without government intervention. Come on. Come on.
Where is it now? Is it in Singapore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you need encouragement. You need you need government support. So I would round the kids.
I really think they should really
get a tennis match
over there. Yeah. And plus, and also give a whole bunch of wild cards to people in the area. You know, like have people there, have a local celebrity. This is, I mean, even if people don't get to see someone like them in that area, what can happen is children would be, you just market the fact that who's showing up here. Venus is showing up here. Gabine is showing up there for just 2 minutes. You know, like Kerber was there. A Ninja was there. Radvanska. So I mean, there's.
I don't know.
Ain't nobody coming out to see her.
I wouldn't even emphasize that. I would emphasize the thing that they do at the US Open, which I know you make fun of, but it's a day out. That's all you gotta say. It's a day out. Yep. You're not in class. You get to watch people perform. Maybe you'll discover someone you love. But I don't think those people, I really don't think a lot of these people that
I don't know if there's
enough stuff.
Are that many distractions out there available? Because the US keeps you completely entertained if you're into that out of thing.
But that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like you don't have to sell. I mean, a tennis tournament is more than the players. It's you know, and that's it's about
the experience.
It's about the experience. So you can sell the experience.
Okay.
You don't have to sell a name. You can sell being outside. You can sell sitting around and cheering for points. I mean, who cares who's doing it?
How much fun did we have sitting at the Robert Mondavi wine bar eating free food?
Exactly. I didn't care who was playing. I mean, in half the time we didn't even watch it.
Yes,
so but you can just show up.
Are we going to be encouraging 12-year-olds? Are we going to be encouraging 12-year-olds to go to events and just roam and run around free?
No, but what I'm saying is you don't have to sell the tournament by the names. You can sell the tournament as an experience. Like these are international players coming into your local town. It's time to go out and support an activity that's happening in your town. You don't have to sell names. You know what I mean? You could just sell being in a
And is Lena even there often enough to bring people there?
Really
Don't
cool. I don't know. And you know what? That's the other
Because I
thing
saw
too.
Petra hanging out with a cardboard cutout, and I'm just like, girl, Petra, like, why is this happening?
But realistically, though, like, who's showing up for a person that's not hitting the ball? Like, I mean, I get that, you know, having her around is helpful.
Can someone tell that to John McEnroe, please?
I mean, you know what I mean? She's like your translator in a certain way, in terms of, especially because of the way it's covered here. I have no idea whether people love Lina in China. How do I know? I mean, do they?
Well, they didn't like her at first, but then she started winning, and then, you know, winning
but do they
is a multitude of all sins.
I know, but do they even recognize her as something that comes from their system? You know what I mean? Like, I've always felt that Lina wasn't quite of China.
Well,
I mean, she is, but she isn't. You know?
She was a rebel in China.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually,
so I don't know how much. Yeah,
I don't know for sure, but I bet there's quite a few people that don't like her
because
of some of the shit that she pulled in order to get where she was. But that's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother thing.
But then again,
but we can move. We can, yeah.
I don't think, but you see, people are not gonna. I don't know, but anyway.
So anyway,
we've
got Andy Murray and Rafa in China, and
which is new.
The big name.
Usually, it's Djokovic's China.
Yeah. So Djokovic has decided apparently he is.
It's not his toe that's bothering him; it's his elbow.
He's no longer interested in the #1 ranking and winning Grand Slams. His priorities have changed. To what? We don't know because he didn't tell us. But whatever, he's pulled out.
I'm gonna tell you what it is.
What is it?
We'll go back to that. We can go to that, but let's finish the round. Mm-hmm. We can wonder about Djokovic towards the end, though.
Yeah,
I'm wondering.
So we have Muzz and Rafa in China, and I don't know. I mean, again, I'll be sleeping, so somebody will have to tell me.
Well, you know who's also which is interesting. Muzz, are they the ones that are would be slated to meet in the final? Is that the top 2 seeds?
Yes. The top 2 seeds, Andy Murray and Vidal, yes.
And then the top 2 seed in Japan is and I would love it if this happened.
And
Monfils, because they've played great matches. So if
they do play great matches,
if those 2 could get to the final, they would have the tournament would have a nice thing, you know, and you could have an exciting Monfils, or you can have your hometown boy win it. So that could be
right.
Beetlejuice. I mean,
you know, whatever, whichever one.
I'm excited.
No, I mean, I think it'd be good for them if they. I mean, it's imperative that Kei gets to the final. You know, that's just. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like hometown pressure. It's like it was always the same.
It's like how Istanbul spent all her money on Venus and then she flopped in the first round. Like,
well, no, you know what it is. I mean, this is the thing. Everyone forgets that there's a certain kind of there's a special kind of pressure placed on the hometown person.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
Sosa.
Yeah, but not even just that. I mean, like Federer and Basel, like it's his job to stay the whole freaking time because that's why they come. It's the same thing with Kei. It's your job to stay until the very end. You can't just bounce. Like
apparently, Wawrinka don't have that kind of pressure.
No, they don't like him there.
And Vidal has the same feeling in Barcelona.
In Barcelona, absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, and that's their own unique brand of pressure. I always thought that Novak sort of made Beijing his sort of home pressure because they couldn't sustain their home tournament. But you know, so I think it's important that Kei gets to that final, and you know he's tense as shit about it.
Yeah, and
this is where he earns all his money.
And plus, sponsors. If where is it in Tokyo?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and Kei, if you play cards right and get your shit together and you show that you can win on that surface, that will be the surface come 2020 Olympics.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry.
Just putting that out there, boo boo. You know,
and you don't even have to share the stage with Stan, who was the defending champion. Remember?
Oh, he's not playing.
No, he's left that. He's Stan is you know Stan's goal is to try to damn well seal Basel. If he doesn't try that,
this is true. Yeah.
But you know,
I think he has 2 goals. If Stan were an ambitious man, if he were an ambitious man,
I think we know goals. He is. I think we know Stan is very ambitious.
He should be. I'm trying to win Basel, and I'm trying to win that World Tour final.
And he could.
He definitely could.
Although strangely enough, his style of play suddenly retreat. Like he's never compelling at World Tour finals. He's never been great there.
Well, maybe this is his time.
And there's no marker around Stanley to fuck up your juju in the semifinals if you do get.
Well, I know, but I don't know if his game. I don't know if his game is ever really suited, or maybe it's just the fact that it was always. I don't know what was always the problem there, but he never played well.
He's an afterthought there typically because we have expected winners, but I think that's all up in the air this year. So he could step up.
For sure. I think it is,
Well,
especially if
also,
Nole
the
is
other
not
thing too
feeling
is that
himself.
the World Tour final, the way it happens is that you just gotta deal with either Murray and Roger, Vidal in the mix in your group. You can't avoid these people too, because Stan
Except
usually builds up, right?
Rafa's usually no problem for anyone like there. I mean, at least
Yeah,
the
he
last
doesn't
couple
do
years.
well
But
there.
you have to build up. You know, I mean, Stanley has showed,
you
like
do.
his mojo happens over 2 weeks. At the World Tour final, you need to be on your shit from day one. Okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's only got
You
a
can't be
couple
having no
minutes to
Dan
get it
Evans
together.
moment. You can't be having any like.
But
oh,
just
I might be slipping and
can I
falling.
give you guys an alert here?
Alert.
In terms of the World Tour finals, right now, Berdych is not anywhere close to it. I mean, he is, but the top 9 players, Rafa is number 8 and Berdych is number 9.
Well, who the hell are the top 9?
So it's Djokovic, Andy Murray, Stan, Milos, Kei, Gael Monfils, and Dominic Thiem.
Oh, wow.
God.
And so this is actually interesting because while Rafa doesn't necessarily defend that many, he doesn't defend that many titles. He's on the edge. Like he needs to do.
He may not be there.
I mean, he could
fuck up and fall out.
Yeah, he could not be there. Like, I mean,
if playing Basel.
Yes, he is. He's listed on the Basel entry. So realistically, the only person
and he has to defend final points.
Yeah. So Berdych, who has made it every year, is on the edge, and he defended his points. So realistically, it's between Rafa
who should be sweating bullets.
It's Rafa and Berdych who makes that final. You got those 2 players. I mean, Cilic could do something. I mean, he could.
I was just going to say,
in place for it, but
who's waiting in the wings? Should Rafa and
could you imagine
Berdych
Rafa being an alternate, sitting waiting for a phone call?
You know what? It'd be it's Marin Cilic and David Goffin. So I mean, it's a really, and you know what? Listen to this, people. Federer has not played in forever, and Federer is still number 7. 12.
He's 12 now. Okay, but listen. You know what? For the first time in a very long time, the World Tour finals may be unpredictable.
Real, especially if any. Well, only it depends. The 2 things, right? If Novak Djokovic is still not feeling himself, and if Andy Murray goes on his, he traditionally plays well there, and he does want to get the number 1. So it's possible that you could have something interesting. Yeah, something interesting happening there. That's cool.
But would it be compelling enough to make us really care?
It could be.
I will.
It depends. I will care. It just depends on how it is. I mean,
Andrina, are you going?
I am actually going.
You have to buy the ticket.
I've already got the damn fucking tickets.
That's right.
No, I mean, and I'm there for the Saturday night semis. That's the thing. So, which is supposed to be, I'm there for most of the night matches. So, no, it's actually quite interesting. I mean, could we have a World Tour finals without Fedal?
Well, we will.
I mean, we've had it without Rafa quite a few times because he's either withdrawn or didn't make it.
Yeah.
But this could be the first time we have
both of them,
there, which would be really interesting. Time for the future.
Oh yeah, for a while it's always been Federer and Nole.
Yep, but
it's
also just
really interesting to see what them stands look like. That's going to be very interesting.
Which is why it's important that Andy Murray have a good,
Thank God it's in England.
Thank God for Murray, right? Anyway.
Thank God for the tour. Thank God for the tour. It's in England, and that Murray is going to be there pretty much no matter what, unless he gets hurt and has to pull out. He will be there.
And he doesn't.
People will come.
Well, he's gonna be. Well, I hopefully he's not deciding that he wants to get the number 1 this year at the end of the year.
He did decide. He says that he wants. He's already indicated. And listen, remember how far ahead Novak was? He's not that far ahead.
I know that because Nole didn't play.
Yeah, when his points drop off for Beijing, Andy Murray's within 2,000 points of Novak. Before it was like double.
You know what?
So
bring it. Bring that shit.
The reason why I'm saying this is because it has been shown that Murray would work himself into a tizzy this late swing in Asia, and he's done rather well in Asia.
On his team though.
and then he got nothing to give in the World Tour final.
That's fine. He
No,
may
he'll be
not.
fine.
He may not. No, actually, Andy Murray usually gets to the semis. So the thing, and
Are
he
we gonna
usually.
talk about the fact that he got bagels and breadstick by Federer?
But
That
it's fine.
was
But
Federer.
Federer's not there.
He's not
Federer's
there.
not there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Andy Murray will like his chances amongst any of these people inside if he's well rested.
Yep.
Why wouldn't he?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Considering
No,
that
he
if
will
he's
be.
pushing for the number one, he has to play a ton of tennis.
No, he doesn't.
No, he does not.
That's the thing.
Because
Novak
pulling out of
isn't
shit.
playing.
Yeah.
And because that's the thing. Like that's what's allowed him to actually creep up here. Which, by the way, Andy Murray traditionally does well in Shanghai. He's won it, and I don't know if Novak is coming to Shanghai. Is he? I mean, he's withdrawn from Beijing. Maybe he'll show up in Shanghai.
He is, but we'll see, right?
But
We got to
who's
wait
to
and see
say?
if his wife says he's allowed to go anywhere.
So the thing with Andy Murray is he doesn't have to do the chase like he did the last couple of years. Remember,
Hold on. Officially, what I'm seeing here is that Djokovic is 4,000 points ahead.
But he's got a lot of shit that's gonna fall off because he's not playing.
But also not officially. You have to look at the race to the end. The race is really where the points are. You can't look at the points. You have to look at the race.
You're looking at the race for the year.
Exactly, but that's what decides whether you're going to be number one. That means it's in Andy Murray's. No, I know, but what I'm saying is the points as they're stretched out right now is the accumulation of points right now. So once his defending points fall off or all of those things happening, Andy Murray is still in reach. The number one is not out of Andy Murray's.
It's over 3,000. It's probably 4,000 points.
But Andy Murray doesn't defend many things. Novak won everything in the fall.
See, at the end of the day, Real.
That's the thing.
Murray will gain points where Nole has to defend points, and that's
I get that. I get that. But I do think. I mean, if I do remember, okay, we'll see.
Because wait, did Andy Murray didn't even do. Remember, Andy Murray did not do anything in Paris. Novak got to that final.
Right.
And Andy Murray and Novak won Shanghai. Andy Murray didn't do that.
Nole won Beijing and Shanghai last year.
Yeah. So Andy Murray in the World Tour finals, and he got to the final. Right.
Right. If Djokovic doesn't play anything. He
close.
just loses all the points. Right.
Yep.
Murray has to do well and play tennis, solid tennis. He has to play a lot of tennis.
Not a lot, though.
Not a lot.
Remember, not a lot, because it's not like when he was trying to get to the World Tour finals that year. He really only has to play all of Asia, which is Beijing and Shanghai, which is comfortable.
He's got to play 3 tournaments. And
then he just plays Paris. He doesn't play any 500s. It's still, you know what I mean? He's still in a workable space. It all just it's only because Nole is not playing. You're right. He wouldn't.
The stars are aligning as of right now today for Murray to make a serious push for number one. That's it.
But I do understand REALZ' point though. I do. Remember when all eyes gaze on Andy, he goes flubby.
Yeah, we'll see though. But you know what? I think that it's gonna matter that he has Lendl in his corner to keep him
that's true.
grounded.
That's true.
So anyways, we also had Davis Cup that happened. And it's funny because when I was making the notes for the podcast, I wrote down Davis Cup and I said Argentina and someone are in the final. Like
I said the same thing too.
We didn't. Yeah, REALZ and I were on the phone and I'm like, don't know who it was.
Because it was supposed to be, because it was supposed to be the damn Frenchies.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah. Why can't why did the Frenchies fall all over themselves?
Because
they're idiots. So now
and the French didn't.
Now it's Argentina and Croatia, which, by the way, I mean, who's cheering for Croatia? I'm sure a lot of people are, though. But I'm all about Argentina winning this sucker.
Yeah, do the damn
we won.
Argentina has a 3-0
yes.
In Davis Cup history.
And now they don't have a whatchamacallit, right? Now they don't have one of the young ones, Church. He's getting some.
What's wrong with him? Is he hurt?
Knee surgery.
Oh, okay. Uh-oh.
Who?
Church.
Church isn't playing?
He's got knee surgery, so I don't know if he's going to be ready in time. So that's where we are.
I doubt that. He shouldn't be.
Can we talk real quick about Caroline and Wozniacki's
resurgence,
I guess we'll call it.
Let me just say, okay.
Can we talk about Naomi Osaka's? You know what? I like her. I do, and I just feel like she's young, and she has some growing pains. But damn, girl, you could have won that. You should have. Again, she was in a position to win, and she just had this mental
Just
collapse.
being in the finals, I guess, of the 2020. Look,
Oh,
let me just say, I'm not a big Caroline Wozniacki fan, but I'm
I
not a
hate
hater
her.
like somebody like I know Tien. I'm just putting it out there. You're a crazy, Caroline Wozniacki hater. But let me just say, Wozniacki, I mean, whenever
she's
this
a
girl
hard
is,
worker.
whenever she is in falling off into the obscurity, she get her life together. I don't know what it is. Whenever there's several times when she's been knocked out in the top 10, she get her shit together. Then, people start playing better than she is. When she's going out of the top 20, she got her shit together. But now, when she's floated out into the ether of the 100 and God knows wherever that space is, whoever is down there, the place where, what's her name? American Coco Vanderway lives, she got her life together and she stepped up and she did the damn thing, and I gotta say kudos for her. You know what I mean? Like when, I guess.
Well, you know what?
Also, she's healthy. No, but
yes,
she's
also that too.
She's been healthy for a while.
That was a little bit of the tennis I did see. I did see her most of that match. I saw the end of it, and I thought, "Damn you, Osaka."
But again, and Wozniacki is the kind of person like
Well, the thing is she didn't do anything to win. Osaka fucked it up, and I can't stand that. I mean, I know the end result is always the same, but the truth is she just played her game like she should do. She absolutely should do that and just do what you do and focus on your game. I get that, but she did not do anything special to win that title. Osaka choked, and she fucked up. She just had a mental collapse, like, oh my God, here I am on the brink of a title. I'm playing,
and pressure,
someone who's probably considered a legend of the game. Huh?
Stop. You would not throw out that L word next to Wozniacki. You just wouldn't.
I said probably. I wasn't sure.
No.
I was trying to.
No, I'm letting you know.
Okay, fine.
No.
A very good, solid player of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And, but yeah, Osaka, she blew it. She fucking blew it. And I just really, really hope that she can, in the coming years, get herself together mentally to win the big matches because she's got the game. She just can't keep her head straight.
Well, we just mentioned this earlier about being at home and at home pressure, right? Because this was in Tokyo,
but she ain't really at home. I mean,
I'm not buying that for this.
I don't buy that for her.
Nope.
I mean, it is her home. She's officially from there, but she doesn't live there.
Yeah, she's an American girl through and through.
I mean, she's playing for Japan, but she's not really home.
I like how you people like to claim a whole bunch of people, like how y'all be claiming Sharapova to be American.
No,
not
I
you.
mean, no, I don't claim Sharapova to be
American.
She's Japanese.
No, she came to the United States when she was 3 years old. She was raised here, but she's been funded by the Japanese. And her mom is Japanese, and she was born in Japan.
Exactly.
She was born in Japan, but she's not. I mean, let's be honest here. She doesn't live there. She doesn't even have a home there.
But who does she pay homage to? And who does she need to pay back to? And who does she need to?
I mean, well, yeah.
To anybody. I'm just saying that I don't believe that she fully feels that home court pressure. I think
that. she would.
Well, maybe that's why she fucking choked. I don't know.
How could that be? Well, how could that be? What was the defense for her choking against Madison Keys?
Exactly. That's why I got nothing. That's why I'm not buying it.
Well, you see, okay, hold up. I'm gonna snatch some wigs and I'm gonna demand some receipt because
you ain't snatching my wig. My hair is real.
Oh. That ain't going for me though. My hair is all 100%. 100%. Anyway, let me just shake my hair back and forth. Anyway, I think we talked about this, and this has been a running theme. We've talked about several players, and we've tried to give it some perspective. And we've mentioned like a young Venus, a young Hingis, a young Serena wouldn't have been losing these matches, and they would have been playing far better. There would have been a 3-set out there. There would have been some sort of conviction that I really want this, and you beat me because you raised your level of your game beyond where I could put. I give my all out there. We've talked about this, and I mentioned having watched the Madison Keys Osaka match. In my opinion, in that match, Osaka wasn't doing anything special. It was Madison Keys who went off the rails as she usually does, and then Osaka being up 5-1. Didn't recognize, no, is it time for me to put down the hammer, lay it down. Because you know what? I'm playing a tennis match.
She didn't recognize it. She just couldn't keep her head straight to do it.
Well, clearly she couldn't recognize that I needed to do something one way or the other, because then she really collapsed and she started to cry. And then Madison Keys was just like, look, someone else is shaking around the court, someone in tears, and it's not me. Look, let me just clean that up and just take this away from her. So, I mean, I think there is more. And I said, like, I don't know about these girls, I don't know about these young ladies anymore, because I just don't know whether everyone is, oh my God, Grand Slam champion in the future, yada, yada, yada. I said, I just don't know, because, I mean, but, someone pointed out to us, like, you can't really tell, right? Because Angelique Kerber is winning her first major at 28, 27. Sure. So there is time. And I mean, like what? Flavia Pineda wanted at 33. That's what I'm saying.
She has plenty of time.
So there is time potentially for her. But
I just hope that she can get it together. Because if she is, and if she keeps getting to this point, to, latter stages of a tournament, then all she can do is build upon that. She shouldn't go backwards, theoretically. So this is where she is here really now.
That's the thing. With, I mean, I think even Federer said this a couple of years ago when they were asking about young people, and even his own development. He's like, sometimes you feel like you're right at the end, and then you feel like you've slipped all the way back again, because she could easily start losing in the first or second round again.
Well, I
mean, it's just one of those things.
But theoretically, interesting enough, that she was losing on the WTA tour, where she was doing well. Yes, where she was doing well was at the majors. She was getting to the third round of majors. That's why she became a name we were knew Naomi Osaka. That was the name, other than the fact that that she is a mixed girl. I mean, that brings. I mean,
that's a big part of it. I mean, the big part of it is that she's marketable in people's minds. I mean,
right, exactly. And like, she does have a really nice personality. Like the kind of person that shines through. Like, like, oh my God, I want to root for this person. But the other thing too. So I wasn't so upset that she lost in the final. Maybe to Wozniacki, when Wozniacki wasn't necessarily all that, she could probably have done better. But I was happy that she actually got to the later stage of a WTA tournament when she was losing earlier in all of them throughout the year. So I would say that let's hope that this is a stepping stone. Build and grow upon this. And there are many people we lost in this shuttle, who we lost in the, like, who get to this and we say, hey, and they never get anywhere. And even look at Sloane Stephens. She sort of like was doing well at majors and then always flopped at WTA tournaments, and then she got her life together, and now it's the reverse. Now she's flopping in the majors.
She's injured.
But she's injured now, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, like, after she was winning titles like last year into this year, we were expecting better things, and then she just never really materialized. So, I mean, so there's still room to grow. I think Sloane has come a long way, and hopefully Osaka is the same thing too. I'm not going to write her off just yet, but I'm just not going to get on a bandwagon just yet with Osaka just now.
Oh, I'm not on the Osaka bandwagon. I think I think it's nice to have that personality around the sport.
Cheering for her.
Right.
That's what, like, I'm cheering for her. I'm cheering
Janine
for
is
her
on the
to do
bandwagon.
well.
No, it's
what
good.
You did? Petra, you see what you did?
Wait. It's good to have Janina. It's been a while since Janina has actually had anyone on her that she's put on a bandwagon. Right, Janina? Like, let's seriously.
Petra. You can't buy Petra bus tickets.
No, I don't feel like every time she plays, I want to watch. Like, when I catch her, though, I enjoy her. I do. I really enjoy her. And I feel like she has great potential. I don't look at her and feel like she's going to be someone who's just going to hover breakthrough. I think she can actually do it.
I think she needs a better coach. She needs a better game, I should say. Not better coach, but
again,
game.
She's 18 years old.
Oh, you know who's her coach? It's Stam Stosler's coach, ex-coach.
Well, that could be dangerous.
Which doesn't bode well.
Yeah. That's right.
I mean, he's supposed
you know what? I think we mentioned this. We talked about this, and I don't know how much of she might want to be involved in this in one of the cases to me, but I am here to see Monica Seles pick up some of these young girls and get their life together.
I would love it. I would love to see somebody.
I don't know why I just think Monica Seles would get the job there. I think Monica Seles would be.
Do you remember when Monica Seles played? That single-mindedness was fucking ridiculous.
Exactly. That's what I want. I just think she'd just be like, no what? We're not doing any press conference. No, I don't want to talk about any bullshit. We're just here to play tournaments and win. And I would love to see that kind of single. Like, Monica Seles doesn't give two fuck about what you say about she and Steffi, whatever. She's like, I'm here to win a tournament, and I could scream and grunt and hit her 200 backhand on both sides.
Has Seles given us any hint that she's interested in coaching?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, but I'm just saying. That's what I
mean, somebody probably just needs to approach her. I don't even know. Some of these people are never approached.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
That's true too.
All right.
I mean,
so,
okay.
Okay, let's move on. Do we want to talk about Nole and his lack of interest? Because I don't really care. I think I said all I needed to say. I think we just kind of have to wait and see how this plays out. I don't really know what it means. I don't know where it's coming from. The number one player in the world.
We talked about this.
It's weird. To me, it's just weird for him to say my top place of interest is no longer the number one ranking in winning Grand Slams. What are you doing then, buddy? What are you doing?
Well, I mean, Federer has said it, but
Federer is at the top. Federer is the leader. But Nole is still chasing. So I don't understand where.
No, but that's different. That's different. When Federer said it, though, Janina, he knew that he wasn't the number. You know, that the number one was sort of out of reach. But it's weird to hear the actual number one player.
That's what I'm saying.
While they're holding the title, and while people But you know what's so funny? Life is funny, right? Because can I tell you, in January, when everybody was like, you know, sucking Nole's feeling. Yeah. I was like,
You're Christian now?
I know, I'm very Christian. Well, you know what? I know, I'm on my knees. But you know, when everybody was like, listen, nobody can beat Nole. Nobody. I can't imagine it. I can't even envision it. And I thought to myself, because you know, people got short memories. And I remember in 2013, everybody said the same thing about Rafa. They're all unbeatable until they're suddenly being beaten. And I think it's, but you know, I mean, so I think it's what's Nole's is people are acting like it's brand new. What Nole
is this driving,
like, it's every person. It's what every person who has put something on in front of them to achieve. This is anyone you've ever admired, and after they've gotten it, and especially if they went at it for the wrong reason.
He hasn't gotten it.
No, he didn't say he wanted Federer. He wanted the thing was the 4 slams and being number one.
I know what I mean? But here's the thing: this is where
Rafa is not even at Federer's number, so the chase is on for Rafa too.
No, but see, Rafa's not going to get there. He's not. He's too late into his career. He doesn't have that many good years left, and he has too many people that can beat him. Novak is still the person to beat. Enough years, I believe, left in his game that he can chase down that all-time winning number. He could, if he probably can beat that 17. Theoretically, it could happen. I mean, but for him to say, person in the world, to say this is no longer my focus just sounds so odd, given in the context of what we believe to have been going on in his life lately, that he has talked about yet not talked about. I just think that this doesn't have anything to do with tennis whatsoever. I wonder if this is his way of just maybe distracting folks from his losing lately. And I don't think his losing lately has anything to do with his game.
Okay.
No, honestly, listen, people, come on now. What has been Novak's demon? We've always nobody can tell me that Nole plays for the love of the sport. I don't care what.
That has never been his storyline. Whether it is or isn't, that's never been what he's sold about himself. It's not even been what tennis convinces you of. I think that Nole was one of those people who pursued tennis for what it could give him, for the external gratification. And
money? I think are you saying money?
Yeah,
like
money,
the lifestyle?
Money, power, fame. Power, security, what have you. All the trappings that came. He's gained that, and now he has to do that thing that most people have to do when you get to this place. You then have to find an internal reason to be here. It now has to be, because he's been number one. He's won slams. Yeah, it'd be nice for him to chase Federer's number, but even that is not enough for him anymore. That number is not enough. So now he has to do that thing that we've all had to do. Everyone, I think, that's ever pursued a goal knows that feeling of kind of getting it and going, that's not, I don't feel as good as I thought I would. And remember, this isn't new. This has always been Novak's challenge. Novak has gone to the peak before and slid down because he had no motivation as well. It's just, he covered it better. He didn't, but after 2011, I remember Peter Boda wrote a piece on Novak going, what's going on? Why does he seem so lost? And then, you know what I mean? So he's always been a kind of 2 step forward, 1 step back.
And also, I mean,
at the peak, and now you're like, why am I here?
It sounds so weird to have him say this out loud.
Yeah, I mean, maybe out loud for Novak, because I mean, yeah, I guess so. Sorry.
I mean, I agree, and I was just about to say that, but you know, I mean, odd things coming out of people who are supposed to be saying odd things coming out of people's mouth. It's not that crazy for me anymore. It's just like, oh well. But also, tennis does have a history of this. I mean, we had what's his name? Oh my God, I'm seeing his hair. Beyond Ball just walked away from tennis just like that. And
the
I mean,
dullest player alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. I always remember somebody said that to me. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. He was pretty though.
For that head of hair. But pretty. I mean, so sometimes you don't know. And also the other thing that Nole was, in my mind, a lot of Nole drive was that I gotta beat Federer, I gotta beat Diva, I gotta prove a point. And these people are no longer there.
Yeah. Right.
They're not there, like they're not at their peak. So him beating these people doesn't confirm anything. Him beating anyone.
No, and that's what to me makes it all so weird. I feel like he.
So I think for him, he doesn't
many more records. But
I mean, what does he have?
I mean, it's not his motivation.
But see, Janina, this is what's interesting, right? Because when you were seeking to ascend, listen, I mean, all of them have done it. Their big claim was not the title, not the peak. It was to push the person who had been there down. That's what he's always said, right? But think about it.
Well, he hasn't really pushed anyone down.
But he doesn't. Like, listen, Rafa is like, okay, now you've got Federer. He's out for the rest of the season. You don't even get to soothe yourself by beating Federer up anymore. So
right. Then, the only person who can legitimately contend with you, like,
or generally, right? You know, right. And then you're beating Stan.
But I think it's more than that.
But no,
because like you said, you know, Federer had Rafa knocking on his heels.
Of course, yeah. There's that.
Novak has had no one knocking on his heels.
No one.
Nope.
That's true.
And maybe
so there's no real motivation. And plus, you know,
he's just kind of like, here I am, and I'm just better than everybody, and nobody consistently pushes me. So what am I doing? Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Also, and let's be honest, Novak won titles this year playing B tennis.
Yeah, exactly.
B tennis.
Like, predicted this.
All his masters, Novak would not even say he was at his best in any of the masters.
Because he wasn't.
And I think we predicted this. I think we predicted this before any of this, you know, like personal issues came out. We said after the French Open, I don't think he's winning Wimbledon because after a certain while, you know what I mean. Plus, his style of tennis
just looked funny.
Well, yes, and plus his style of tennis is really exhausted. I don't know how his body is holding up, whatever.
It exhausts me.
He got no toe injury, but you know, I might give him the elbow. The toe, fuck that shit. Nothing wrong with
Well, but toe. I mean, it is about time for Novak's body to start to pay
exactly
the price.
I mean,
just like
some
Rafa
toll.
did.
I mean, you know, everybody wants to. I mean, they're always telling us how magical everybody is, but at some point in time, your body has to pay the price for your sport.
Serena, y'all need to understand that as well too, because sometimes y'all are just like, what? Like, remember in 2007 she did this. It's 2016. Okay, people. Like, yeah.
But I think for Novak, he just needs to. It's like with Agassi a little bit too. And if you read his biography, I think you just have to figure out what it is. Why are you here now? You've got all the money you can get.
Right. Exactly.
You've won all your titles.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to find the love of, or the original reason why you got here. But you now have safety and security. You have all the security you're ever going to need. And you know what? And let's be honest. I just do not think winning RG gave him the feeling that he thought.
I don't think so either. I don't think so. And I think it's also
like
we can see Federer spoke about this. You know, like, you know, I'm not necessarily winning majors anymore, but I'm out here because I want to be out here. I love this sport.
I don't think anybody questions Federer's love for the game.
No, but I mean, like, the motivation, because everyone is always telling him that, why are you not retiring? Why are you not retiring? Why?
Because I'm having fun now, boo.
Right, exactly. They're like, I'm having fun. This is not even about winning titles.
Novak hasn't been having fun. Let me tell you something. I don't care what. You know, people used to say, oh, I see the joy in Novak's game. Novak has been joylessly doing tennis for a really long time, and I've never seen.
As far as I know him, as far as I know, watching, and I've been watching him for a long time before 2011.
He's never been a joyful player, so the idea that he would suddenly
he's an angry player.
Well, whatever the motivation was, it was never joy. I mean, I think his fans find joy in watching his dominance, and maybe he found some joy in dominating, but it never seemed like I just never got that. I mean, which is hilarious because he's such a jokester. but he's just never struck me that way on court as somebody who was like having a good time being out there.
I ain't got time for all those written down jokes, those contracted jokes. I got no time for that.
All right.
Well, anyway, so, but I mean, but you know what, Novak, you know who he can call about that? He can call Serena. Serena's been up and down this battlefield. She knows many times. She can call him and be like, listen, boo. I mean, they've been hanging out enough. They've been hanging out enough. No. Venus never had this problem. Venus, that's the one thing I think Venus and Federer have very much in common. Their drive and love for the sport has never been.
It's never been questioned.
It's never been weighed. No, that's their bodies will give out before their minds.
Yeah, no doubt.
They'll be signing up for wheelchair tennis. I bet you. Watch and see. Venus and Roger are gonna sign up for wheelchair tennis. Watch and see.
Stop it. All right, let's move on.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here, folks.
Let's move away from Nolan. He doesn't get that much time on our podcast. Oh. So, moving on to we're going to talk about Black people.
Oof.
Yeah, we are. Is
it time for us to get racist by focusing only on Black people? Because that's what that means.
It is time.
You know, we never talk about white people. The white people we love on this show.
We're about to talk about Black people, and we're going to talk about how Black lives matter. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay.
Tell me.
Moderatress is gonna be on.
Tell me.
So Serena took to Facebook and made a very heartfelt post about Black Lives Matter. If you haven't read it, go read it. I'm not going to read it to you, but essentially the gist of it is she had some work to do. She asked her 18-year-old nephew to drive her around so that she could use her phone. She wanted to be safe, blah, blah, blah. And they see a police officer before her eyes. And all of a sudden, she's scared. She's afraid because of what's going on in the world. And how would she feel if something were to happen and her nephew basically lost his life to a police officer because she asked him to drive around, and she has decided that she can no longer be silent. She did quote a Martin Luther King quote that said, "There comes a time when silence is betrayal, and I won't be silent." And you know what I say? Thank you. I have been very clear over many, many discussions here that I do not believe that if an athlete is uncomfortable using their space in this world to talk about things like this, that they have an obligation to do so. But the flip side of that is I am grateful for those who do. I don't think that we should put that responsibility on people's shoulders. However, I'm very happy that she said something because it is an issue. It's a huge issue. And we see it more and more and more every fucking day. Every day we see our young Black sisters being gunned down for some bullshit. And people are getting away with it. So it's nice to see someone of her stature speak up. First of all, to say exactly how she's feeling, because the way that she feels is the way that I feel every time my Black son walks out this house and gets in the car. Every single time I have to worry about whether or not he's going to get pulled over something stupid like he did a few weeks ago because the light on the license plate wasn't working properly. Silly to some people who are listening, but that is life threatening to a Black man.
That's enough to get you killed. If the cop that rolls up on you is uncertain, fearful, what have you, sees you like a monster,
or deaf,
whatever the reasons are, if you flinch, move in the wrong direction, do any of the things that person is going to perceive as threatening, all they have to say
could be your life.
They feel threatened. That's it. It doesn't have to be real.
That's it.
And I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like I think it was Claudine Rankin said, we're at the mercy of white imagination. Yeah. And their imaginations of us, are that we are monsters. And so, I mean,
something along the line of like Black people are being killed because white people can't police their imagination.
Yes,
Something
I mean,
along the line.
and we already know that.
And that's it.
We already
That's it.
know that a lot of people have lack of imagination because, as
And you know
Tim
what I
Burton
just want to
says,
throw in there?
figure out whether we should have black people in my movies. But anyway,
Well, you know what? I need to throw something in here real quick. I need for people to understand that this isn't new. This is not something that is new. This isn't something that has just emerged recently. The difference is social media and the fact that pretty much everybody in this world has some type of camera on their person at all times, and we are being able to record it and show it to the world. But y'all need to understand that this
And
is
also
nothing new.
The police are capturing it themselves.
They are capturing it themselves, and they're also trying to cover up capturing it. I did see where, I don't remember exactly where it was, but there was a police stop and there were 2 or 3 police vehicles, and for whatever reason, you figure it out, they put the hoods up on
they put
their
it
cars
to cover the dash
so
cam.
that the dash cam couldn't catch what was going on. So tell me why, first of all, that even needs to happen, why they even feel that needs to happen. Why? Let me tell you, because they're afraid that something is going to escalate and they are going to get caught on camera from their own devices doing something wrong. So they're trying to cover
which I don't even know
happens.
Which I don't even know why they worry about it. None of them have ever been arrested.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. This is what happens to these police officers. Yes, you may sit in jail for like 20 minutes. Yes, but you know what? You're gonna get an overpouring of sympathy from a whole bunch of,
maybe a GoFundMe page.
Not maybe, you will get a GoFundMe page. Then you get a speaking tour and a book deal, and then you can really let loose and say all of the racist thing that you really want to say. Tell them how you really feel. You get to you get paid vacation. Then you get, even though you get fired, you can then go back and sue. Mm-hmm. In some cases, they buy you out, they give you a deal, whatever. You can get a job elsewhere because no one ever says you can't be police officers anyway. So I mean, like, yes, there might be some quote unquote uncomfortable, television coverage and whatever the case, but by and large, you will be free and you will make more money than you would make as a police officer. Well, and also, you no longer get to meet black people who you'll be afraid of.
Okay, well,
the circles that you're gonna hang around with, there will be no persons of color.
Well, I mean, I will say that first, on the hinge of this, I did get a DM from one of our listeners who actually wanted us to talk about this, but as it related to Rio, when during that presser, that infamous presser with Venus and Madison, where Venus sort of tossed the mic to Madison as a person of color and indirectly kind of asked her to comment on Black Lives Matter. So I think what's interesting about this in a couple of ways, right? First, I thought it was really wonderful that Serena entered it personally. It was a personal moment that anyone could kind of relate to because, I understand that white people are having a difficult time relating to these ideas. So I think she entered it in a very personal way.
Right.
And can I interject something really quick that I share that I had a conversation with someone that you said like white people have a hard time relating to it. I just want to say that a conversation that I had with someone was, you're in your car, you're driving, you see the flashing lights behind you. As a white person, your initial response is like, oh shit, but you don't fear for your life. And that's the difference. When it happens to a black person, you don't know that you're going home to your family or going home to nobody, to your cat, to your dog, to an empty house. But when it is a white person, you're just like, oh shit, am I going to get a ticket? When it's a black person, it's a black person, you don't know if you're going to live or die. And that is the reality. And that might sound very extreme to some people, but you need to understand, whether you understand it or not, that is the reality. And it is not an exaggeration at all.
But I mean, I think the question, though, aside from whether this is a real thing or not, and in people's minds, is really the sort of the place of the black athlete, the role of the black athlete, right? Because this is a tennis podcast. The question is, what responsibility, what space do black athletes have to enter and even talk about this? And I think the other point that that was made in my DM was really the question of why it even has to be asked of black people only or black athletes only. This is an American problem. Right.
Yes, it is.
And, I mean, to be honest, it's like, this is one of the biggest issues. This is one of the biggest issues happening. This is one of the it's a criminal justice issue. It's essentially garnering so much public attention. The fact that the only sort of negative, we've only gotten sort of negative perspective from, non-Black people, especially in tennis. A couple people have made some really mocking Black Lives Matter comments. Ryan Harrison. And, you know, maybe we've also had Nicole, what's her last name? She's been very cogent and thoughtful. Nicole Gibbs has been very thoughtful about it. Realistically, I want more people like Nicole Gibbs saying the things that they're saying. I'm less interested in, I'm less interested in what Serena Williams thinks about it. I mean, I get it. I don't know. I mean, if this is going to change white people's minds, I guess, I don't know. But realistically, it's not. Black people's minds don't need to be changed about this. Like, really?
Right.
I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
because it's comforting for us as Black people to know that white people understand and are speaking up. But I think the problem in tennis is that it is a global sport, whereas you have what's going on in like football with people taking a knee during the national anthem and the white players doing that alongside the Black players, is that this is an American sport and this is pretty central to America. And I think it becomes difficult sometimes for when we're talking about tennis, I think it's difficult sometimes for we're not going to see a lot of tennis players speak up because they can't relate because they're not American. Now, yeah, we do have Nicole Gibbs saying things. We do have Ryan Harrison saying ignorant things. But for a sport as a whole, because it's so international, I don't think you're going to see a lot of it. I don't.
I agree and I disagree, because if everybody has an opinion on what's going on in Syria, if everyone has an opinion about what's going on in China,
I don't see a lot of people talking about that either.
Well, I mean,
am I missing it? Or
I'm
just think tennis as a global sport. Tennis as a global sport.
I get what you're saying specifically regards to tennis.
It's more difficult to see like players taking a stance, so to speak, because they can't relate as it not being their home. No,
I mean, I agree with what you're saying, and then I also disagree. I mean, I mean, insofar as to say,
I don't think it's right.
Point. But I mean, I would say that, listen to me, we see, you know, if people can understand that terrorism is a global issue and everyone can discuss those things, especially particularly when it happens in one place. Like if it happens in France, everyone has an opinion, you know, like, oh, pray for France, etc., etc. Yep. We need to understand this is a problem that's happening in America, and they can have an opinion.
They come here.
They can have an opinion of sympathy. I mean, the UN is even talking about this. Like, America, like this is a humanitarian issue, and this is not okay.
No, I agree. I totally agree. I think there's a difference.
Also, the funny thing is that
I think there's a difference, though. I think there's a difference between, you know, terrorists bombing France as opposed to white officers attacking Black people in America. Yes, it is a huge issue. It's a big issue, but I don't think it's the same, because people in tennis are traveling all over the world. This is happening all over the world, whereas this issue is centralized.
Well, our
country. I think it's.
Although there is one point, though. Let's be honest.
And I think that gives them an out. I don't think it's okay, but I think that gives them an out.
However, Janina,
to not say anything.
However, this is a public safety issue as well. Because let's be honest, Black people are going into white. I think this is a central issue for tennis to even think about. As tennis begins to think about how it grows its audience, and the fact that overwhelmingly tennis in America is happening in white spaces and they're trying to diversify their audience. Will people of color feel safe and comfortable entering white spaces? I mean, but think about that.
Ever?
But listen, but this is what I'm saying. In a concrete way, it's an important subtext that maybe tennis isn't thinking about. Think about what happened with Serena and Venus at Indian Wells and what that communicated to the world. And yes, they failed to embrace what that was all about. But if you think about this in practical terms, if you are a person of color and you want to see some good tennis, are you thinking about going to Indian Wells, California, where you might have an interaction with an overwhelmingly white police force? Maybe not. I mean, if you think about all the spaces, Cincinnati, I mean, you know, think about all the sort of the really overwhelmingly white spaces that tennis occurs. It actually can become a sort of public safety issue if that's part of people's consciousness about where am I going to go so I can feel safe and enjoy my sport. I'm not going to pick up and think about going to tennis. So I mean, that's, you know, so I do understand your point about like that piece too, but my
other issue with that is that not issue with anything, but I think something that we need to put into this discussion is the fact that people don't generally, that on a whole, the world has never really looked at racism and all of the ism as being as a bad thing for us to tackle and, I guess, break down. They've never really seen it as being that problem. Because unfortunately, much of the inklings and much of the base of this madness of racism, a lot of people have sort of like embraced those ideas too. A lot of people do.
What do you mean?
Insofar as, I mean, like when we talk about
hierarchy
racism,
of people.
When we talk about racism, and even like how it's covered in American media, everyone keeps saying, like, well, don't you see how Black people feel? And it's like, no, people, racism is fucking you up too. It's fucking everybody up. But we've always made it to seem like, like, oh, racism just affects
Black people.
People of color, Black people,
yep.
And people, and insofar that it affects them directly, like you're saying, people of color cannot enter these spaces. People of color are less than white people. However, you are fucked up too, because as we can see, I don't really want to get into politics of election, is that we have seen how racism is really blinding white people because they don't understand that the economy and the issues that they're talking about, how police is coming to your neighborhood next, and police is doing this to you too. That you are getting an unfair.
We all know when that happens, then they'll ask the white tennis players, but right. About what it means. But I mean, like, besides sort of Serena's point about Black Lives Matter, I mean, what do you like? I mean,
what about Venus is all lives matter? How do we feel about that?
Well, part of that.
Wait. I think this is one of the things that I think becomes really challenging, and I find myself entering it this way as well. Is that nowadays you have to make these sort of weird decisions, right? You've got to put people in the Black Lives Matter camp or the All Lives Matter camp, right? Because this is now what it becomes. It becomes your way of proving your Blackness, right? This is what happens when you have to, when it's like the onus is on the Black player only to talk about this issue. Do you know? And it's like, I understand.
That's part of what I'm talking about here.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
I know.
We always force it. It's how the people of color feel. It's just like, no, we need to hear what the white people feel.
Because it's going to impact you. Like, it's
exactly.
Not, if this is impacting Serena and she's your number one player and she might be traveling to a tournament or she might be doing whatever, it's impacting your tournament. It's not something but I also think about this in terms of how we've dealt with religion on the tour, right? People always sort of aggressively hate someone and go, oh, that person's just dismissing this because of religious reasons and sport is pure and we should just compete. Bullshit. Sports happens within a cultural milieu. And so if religion is a very important thing, then it's playing a part. But I think it's, so I always feel like the onus is on the player though, not the organization to sort of deal with these challenges. Not the, I just like, I don't really like that.
I think it's interesting that you bring up religion because specifically talking about Venus and Serena, most of us know that they are Jehovah's Witness, and their theology tells them that they don't get involved in matters like this because
no, they don't.
This is a political issue, essentially, and they don't deal in things like this. And I think that Serena speaking out is huge because she's a Jehovah's Witness. Yep. And I think the reason that Venus kind of says all lives matter is her way of saying, I'm not getting involved. And I would like to believe that the basis of that is also coming from her religion. So she's trying,
but she
I feel like Venus.
No,
but I feel like it's easier for Venus to stick with her faith and not tackle both issues at once, because that's a whole nother thing. When you say I'm not going to talk about something because of my religious beliefs, then everybody questions your religious beliefs. So by her saying, because saying all lives matter, like it or not, that's the safe thing to do.
It is.
And Serena saying I need to speak up for all Black lives matter, that is not a safe thing to do in her religious space. So both of them have made very huge statements in very different ways. One of them, it seems like, is standing up for their religious beliefs, and I'm not going to touch this. I know you're trying to make me, but this isn't what I do, because they both do this when it comes to politics. And this is a very volatile time in politics in the United States, and they're not talking about it. And we all know that there's a lot of racism going on right now, and they're not talking about it. And the reason they're not talking about it is because of their religion. So, I mean, there are just so many facets to what's going on here. I'm not going to condemn Venus for not getting involved. I will not do that. Again, I do not believe if you're not comfortable doing that you should be forced to do that. I don't. I
do think that she should educate herself about saying all lives matter, though.
Right. I agree with that.
And what that can mean, because I mean, really,
what it can mean to the outside person.
Yeah, it's not a non-statement. It's not a non-statement. You know what I mean? Like, it's not in this political climate, saying all lives matter means a certain thing. So,
and how that can be taken.
It sounds like she's ignoring the Black people.
Yeah, which is fine, and it's funny because I know
I don't think that's what she means.
I know, but it doesn't matter anymore because amongst Black people, we obviously know all lives matter. That's the key thing. That's why we're saying Black lives matter. You know what I mean? Like the subtext is all lives matter. In this situation, Black lives doesn't seem to matter. We better talk about it. So it all underpins that. But I do think that if you're going to be if you're going to have a public voice, whether you want it or you don't want it, you have it. You need to then make sure you're using the terms correctly.
Right.
Because if you go out and you say something like an all lives matter, in the landscape of Black Lives Matter, that means a certain things. That's a certain.
It does.
And so she should really know that.
I hope that we're right.
If I can quote Obama, which I think Obama need to actually say and not be trying to come for Colin Kaepernick shit.
He
Obama,
did, but
maybe. Yes, he did. But maybe Venus, let me give you what Obama was saying is that I'm going to put it to you now, Venus. Maybe you should understand that when you say all lives matter, how it can hurt people of color.
Oh Lord. Well, but everything.
I think that in the past, Venus has said enough to let us know that that's not where she lives.
But I don't. But let's.
I think that we learned in Rio where she stands. I don't
know if we.
You don't believe that?
I mean, listen. At the end of the day, we cannot presume where anyone stands on this. You know why? Because listen, I think I'm going to read a little passage from Ta-Nehisi Coates, and he's talking about athletes, right? And he says, "It is the nature of the color caste system in America that Black people with close ties to whiteness are often those with the resources, education, and means to make vocal challenges to racism. It's not coincidence. It is not irony. It is the result of a racist history in which Black people with lighter skin were more likely to be given privilege." This was talking about Colin Kaepernick and why it's important for him to speak. And so growing up Black in proximity to whiteness is more likely to open one's eyes to Americans' racial divides than render them invisible. The thing is, Venus and Serena are intimately acquainted with racism. They experienced it while entering this white sport, right? But I think it's, this is the thing. They're like, Kaepernick's true sin is his rejection of the Faustian bargain offered to Black people who reach elite status in America. That your success is going to come at the price of you ceasing to criticize racism, right? So
because you have been successful.
Yes, and
OJ.
Yeah, you want to OJ road. You want to go the OJ road. And while I appreciate Venus's comment, I do think that in this political space where people are dying, that you throwing out all lives matter without context or without any kind of flavoring of that, you can say, you know what, I don't want to engage in a political thing, or I don't know.
I think that would have been the better. I think that would have been the better response. But I think that people need to probably try to understand that her response was based on religion. That's how I see it. That's
it's one. It could be one. It could be because Venus has businesses. I mean, let's be honest. Listen,
her business is when it's all white women.
Exactly. It's not Black people. Listen, we all have, it's a complex system, right? It's the same reason why Michael Jordan says, white people wear sneakers too.
Initially, and then later on.
Listen, we all understand that even the most successful Black people must understand on some level that at some point in time, you might think they will come for you and they will take everything you have. David
Chappelle calls it, they make me want to wear a dress. And I was like,
but No, it's tricky. It's tricky. So I wouldn't presume that the reason why she's saying that is because of her religion. It could just be because Venus doesn't want to sort of get up there, but that's unusual for Venus because Venus has taken quite some pretty strong stances in the past around religion for some of the other players from, if I'm not mistaken, the Middle East. So she's also very cogent about what she thought about Indian wells, and that's very. I know, but see, that's more palatable. So.
Exactly. Race in America, you take on the issue of racism in America right now, and particularly, well, at any point, that is probably that is down the third rail. People used to talk about Social Security as a third rail of politics. Right? No. It's racism.
It's huge right now, and it's scary.
But honest to goodness, what I want, and I love Venus and Serena. I appreciate you all saying something, but good on you. But the reality is, I want to hear you ask all the other people. I want to hear. I want to hear people ask tournament directors. I want to hear you say, "Listen, there's a you can start asking tournament directors about terrorism. These are real valid concerns about people entering foreign spaces. And why can't those things come up? It's like, I want to diversify the marketplace. We want to grow tennis. Well, who are you going to grow it? Let's be honest.
Interesting enough.
The world is not getting whiter. The world is not getting whiter. It is getting browner.
Yes, it is.
Yellower, and it's getting all the other wonderful colors of the rainbow that does not necessarily include white. But so if you want to diversify that sport, you're going to have to get the base of that, which is security. How safe do people feel in your spaces?
Yeah.
Quite recently, we saw an interaction. I don't know which player it was. Was it Troitsky? Someone with the interaction with the police officer on the court security?
Oh my God. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. I don't remember which player it was, and I don't want to say
it was Troitsky.
It was Troitsky. Yeah.
Had that been a black player, they'd have been.
That's not going on for a black player. But can I tell you honestly? He's my favorite, one of my favorites. But I'm often concerned about the black players on the tennis tour because I know they don't come from here, and so I'm always thinking to myself, Monfils, please don't drive a car all by yourself. I do think about these things. I don't know if it occurs to people to think about that. Yeah. But because I know often players drive from Toronto, they drive from Canada to Cincy.
Well, the truth is that they don't.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right?
Live who gets everyday killed? Life where they
who gets killed in the car?
In a car. Yeah. They don't think about that stuff. No, you're right. They don't. That isn't their everyday mojo to think about what they're doing in a car in America because it isn't that way.
Did you think James Blake thought about it when he was standing out? Listen, James Blake got it when he was headed to a U.S. Open event. Think about that. That's when he was tackled, waiting outside of a hotel to go to the U.S.
And
Open.
do you know what happened as a result of that incident? James Blake let it be known. The officer never apologized to him. The officer kept his job.
He got a raise.
The officer got a raise and promoted. Yes.
A promotion for bruising. So, and you know what? And let's be honest. And James Blake, we're not going to go into it.
White people will come in for James Blake saying, "What's your problem, man?" He apologized to you, and James said, "No,
because he
never apologized to me."
They want and fuck an apology. It's not an apology. Come on now. It's not
quit
personal.
Doing it. Quit putting our black men in these situations.
Because that will be
the ultimate apology.
I don't want a personal apology. I don't want a personal apology. Because that's what James Blake was trying to put out there. It was like man to man. Fuck that. No, boo. It's systems.
No,
so one individual cop apologizing is not enough. Just like those videos of one cop treating a black kid cutely or wonderfully. Those things are gross. But I'm just saying it's systemic. So one individual officer apologizing is not enough. Because the officer that apologized, was that enough for James? Is that enough?
Because what that James Blake incident showed very clearly that there was absolutely no reason for the officer to approach James in any capacity because their information was all wrong all over the case.
But think about it.
If he wished to approach James Blake, he should have approached him differently and not in an aggressive manner. And that just tells you that's not one officer's action. That is a system that is allowing him to behave this way.
But REALZ
he has not been reprimanded off get any kind of damage.
Think about it practically. What if that was a person that looks exactly like James Blake who flew in with a package deal to go to the US Open?
Yep.
That's a customer. That's a future customer.
Do you know?
People don't think about that.
I actually thought about if that were me, I would have ran because I wouldn't have thinking
and you would have
been dead if you would have.
I would have been dead.
But
I would have James Blake thought this was buddy coming to hug him. That would not have been my thought.
Listen to me.
And I usually stand there to take the bus.
Listen, this is the reality of it all. I had to travel to a wedding this weekend. And on our way home today, my 8-year-old son says he has to go to the bathroom. Do you know that we had to say, no, we can't stop here? We'll be on the turnpike soon. How bad do you have to go? Because we didn't feel that we were in a safe enough place to stop to let my child use the bathroom, because we were driving through a very rural part of Ohio that was full of Trump Pence signs and Confederate fucking flags.
Listen,
I couldn't stop to let my child piss.
Listen, honey,
is the reality of the world that Black people live in.
But
and
think
I
about
was
this.
Not that far from home.
But think about this, Janina, and let's bring it real. Because I mean, we can have this conversation in many contexts, but we're having this conversation within the context of sport. Think about where we drive to go to tennis tournaments, aside from Miami, which thank you, Miami, for having so much flavor, which by the way, subtly is why my feelings have shifted. And I've actually begun to enjoy Miami more than I enjoy Indian Wells. Indian Wells is becoming white. And I mean that not in the best of sense. And I don't mean this as an insult to white people. I just mean that the hierarchical nature of Indian Wells is getting stronger and it's calcifying. And it's really about sort of a moneyed approach. And whenever you start doing that, and it's Palm Springs anyway, so it's not going to be a space where people are going to feel like they're welcome to go there. So
can afford to go there and spend money.
Yes, I mean, they're really creating a real division there. Okay, Miami, I don't worry about it because I know there'll be Black and brown people there, and I feel fine. But Indian Wells, I do think about it, and Cincinnati, I do think about it because we do have to drive through some strange terrains to get there.
Yes, you do.
You do. And so, but so what I'm saying is that these are, even for people who can only enter this from a monetary side, if you're concerned about growing your sport and you're concerned about people coming to your sport, and I know people talk in envy about the number of people who go to basketball games. Guess what? People don't feel unsafe if they're going to go to a basketball game.
I feel good at a basketball game.
You know what I mean? People aren't worrying about whether this is a space for them.
Nope.
So if you're if you're sitting around thinking about, I mean, it's just something practical. I go to live tournaments. You got to ask yourself these questions. Is your tournament a welcoming space? I felt better and safer going to China than I did when I was in Indian Wells at certain points. So
you only felt safe in China because everybody wanted to touch your Black skin.
Well, I also felt safe because I knew that everybody would know if I was missing, and then it would be easy for me to be found if anything happened. But Janina is right, because you remember, Janina, the funniest thing is that we used to have a book called the Negro Motorist Green Book.
Yep.
Remember that book? And that book was basically just a book to tell you where it was safe to go.
Where can you stop? Where can you not stop? Where do you need to avoid? Where can you drive through safely? Where can you stop and get gas? Where can you pee? Where can you eat? People don't realize that this is a part of American history that is very, very real.
And it's not even history.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you a little personal story. And I don't think this is, and for the listeners out there, this is not meant to bash or bring them. It's just a matter of just
keeping it real.
Bringing some clarity and reality to a certain topic that some of you might not be aware of. But, I live in New York City, as we all know, though you don't know what I really look like. But anyway, I do live and I exist. Anyway, one of the reasons is that, everyone keeps telling me, like, you should move to different states and whatever. And I know I've been to a couple of other states, and I know America is big and beautiful and wonderful. However, I don't think it is safe for me to move to many other places in the United States because I'm not white. And I have an accent. And it's precisely this thing. And I don't drive. So me learning to drive in most places, it's going to be a situation. I will be pulled over because I probably will be driving like the police officer coming up to me. And look, we're going to have a problem because I don't trust me, because I'm telling you. And mind you, I grew up around police officers. I literally at one point in my life, I actually lived in a police barracks, like where they were training officers. So interacting with police officers, not necessarily something I should be taught to be afraid of, as I know as I know you, Janina, you had to teach your children, you know, like, hey, when you meet a police. I read a thing once. A woman said, she said, I teach my children, my sons, expect to be humiliated and being able to deal with that, because otherwise you might not come home. And that was never really my training. But then again, I grew up in a different place altogether. And I had an experience several years ago. I was in Oregon, Portland to be exact. The new hipster Portlandia, whatever the case may be. And my friend was trying to encourage me to come out there and live, you know, like, oh, it's cheaper, it's wonderful.
In Portland?
In Portland, yes.
Oh, hold honey, up, hold up, people in Portland. Hold up. I mean, there are, but you can count them.
And that's what when I went there, I was like, for a week, whenever, and I said that same thing. I said, I'm sorry, like, I'm not seeing a lot of people of color here. But it is a wonderful, nice enough area. No one, you know, like, it wasn't that thing. And I was actually surprised, like, you know, it actually looked like the Caribbean in many ways, you know, like home style, greenery, everything. So one day I was literally across the street from where I was staying, literally across the street, having something to eat. A white woman approached me and made monkey songs right in front of my face. And her friend pulled her away. I was like, girl, what you doing? And she pulled away from her friend and came back and made the monkey sounds in front of me. And mind you, I was just like, at first I was just like, what the fuck? Am I in like some bad movie script I just walked into? Like, you know, it was like one of those, like, you know, like, no, it was like one of those, like, you know, those roadhouse bars and whatever. There was a lot of people inside there. It wasn't like it was a lonely, dusty town with like a dusty beer bottle and whatever. There were people in there. And I think there was just one other black man sitting at the bar. But I was at a booth sitting down, and I was just like, oh my God, this is actually happening. Like,
see, the real problem is that people think that that is okay to do that.
She thought that she was being hilarious and funny.
Of course she did.
And I knew I couldn't do anything but just, you know, like, hope that she wouldn't create a scene and make anything. That to say anything would probably bring
problems.
Because, I mean, like, whoever goes up to a black person just regularly and just say, unless you feel, you know, in your space where you feel safe and comfortable to do this. And I know, like, you know, let me just finish my meal and just walk on across the street and go there and stay where I don't think anyone would be in there trying to do this to me. And you see that kind of situation, because what if, I mean, I think I had a right to be upset and scream and be like, bitch, are you fucking out of your mind?
Yeah.
You crazy?
But you knew that you couldn't behave that way.
No, I mean, I don't want to have to deal with that sort of situation. I don't want to have to deal with subtle and institutional racism. However, you know, there is a sort of a, you know, like, you don't want to have to be combating this every day. You know what I mean? So that's when I'm just saying, you know, these are reality. And just imagine this is happening to people dealing with police officers. And I know this happened even in New York City too with police officers. You know, so just, you know, these things happen, people, and we got to do better.
Well, I mean, think about this. I was at Indian Wells watching a match, and this woman said, she was not even talking about a black player. I was watching a match between a French player and an American player, and the woman got so pissed off, she started to say she said, I think it was Cornet or some French player, somebody was doing something crazy, and she said, this bitch needs to go home. And she's like, you need to go back and leave America. I was like, I looked over at her. I was like, you're aware this is a global sport. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't say it, but I just gave her the evil eye, which by the way, is one of the reasons why I'm not one of those jingoistic people. Whenever people start chanting USA, USA at tennis tournaments, I get nervous because, I mean, I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but when you start chanting USA, it don't take very far for you to go down some other weird road. Yeah. Because it doesn't, you know, it doesn't.
You don't always feel included.
Well, yeah, and because I think that's really challenging for people, because especially for tennis players to understand, because they come from European countries generally,
and they don't behave this way.
No, not that at all. No, I would never say that. But
I'm
saying jingoistic sentiments is kind of embraced there. Like, it feels like I'm Italian, and you can sort of go back and forth. And players are always talking about their Swissness or their Italianness or their whatever. And there's kind of like this understanding that it's okay to sort of party on in that way. But in the US, that's not really something we do, because usually that ends up in a very nasty place. Generally, it really does.
You're excluding yourself from your people when you say, I'm Italian. You know, I mean, that's what's happening. You're drawing a line. When someone says that, they're making themselves known that I'm not really like you. Here,
I mean,
in America.
That's what that like means. I think abroad it plays very differently, especially at sporting events. But I definitely, whenever I'm at a sporting event in the US and I hear people start chanting USA, particularly since we're hosting the event, it always feels weird because I'm like, as a host, you kind of don't do that. And I mean, you know, and so it's a really, really sort of weird tension. And I do understand in some ways why I think global tennis stars may not understand the intricacies of what that could mean for them.
Right.
But, you know, listen, I always take it back down to cash because I don't really need to change your mind. I don't need to change your hearts. I don't need to change anything. I don't think Venus and Serena changed anybody's hearts and minds. I think what people responded to was cash in the bank in tennis. I mean, sorry, that's my cynical point of view. And so for me, when I think about tennis and growing tennis, you need to understand whether your sport's going to be welcoming in all capacity. And Black Lives Matter could potentially become something that is going to impact you in some future way. So, you know, it's just, you know,
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I agree with this sort of like behavior. I don't know. I mean, in the sense that, you know, sometimes I don't want to get too much in political thing. And this was supposed to be a quick and dirty podcast. And this ended up to be a podcast that's almost 2 hours long.
Of course.
But anyway, are we on everything on the agenda mentioned?
Okay, so the only thing that we need to further discuss is we have another giveaway coming up. Denzel, I am happy that you finally found your package from the Reels crew and that you liked it. But our next
congratulations.
Yes, congratulations on winning. Our next giveaway, I'm going to tell you what the prize is. It is a Jacobs Creek U.S. Open bottle of wine. And as you all know...
Wait.
Jacobs Creek is, you know, the sponsor of Novak, who doesn't really acknowledge that they're a sponsor of him because he says he doesn't support alcohol, but he appears in all their ads. Whatever. So
he's in their films. And they have cardboard cutouts of him.
That's our giveaway. So in order to win, we
hold on, Janina. I don't think you're playing it up nicely.
Okay, I'm sorry.
First and foremost, this is the Reels Tennis Podcast, and you know what we love more than tennis? Alcohol. You know, and what we do nearly every single podcast, someone in some capacity. And no, we promise that Andrea will have no more PIMS.
You know, listen. Let me tell you something. PIMS, Andreen on PIMS was very popular, and I just talked about myself in the third person.
Super popular.
Except with Marcus, whatever that other Willis, okay? Like,
right.
But anyway, so I know a lot of people say we hate Noli and whatever, and just to prove to you that, you know, like, we are equal opportunity haters. And we hate judiciously, at least I know I do. You know, I got us a bottle of Jacobs Creek Classic Chardonnay Vintage 2015. Isn't it just like tennis with hyperboles? Vintage in its own 2015. And it's a U.S. Open officially
for years.
wine off the U.S. Open.
So
it's
does it have the U.S. Open label
on
it
and everything? Yes, it has the U.S. Open logo on it. And it says from Australia, so it's very global, okay? It's all global. Unfortunately, it is for those people who like to be classist and egregious, it is a bottle with a cap. I would post a picture on Twitter when I release this podcast, so you can go and see it. I make sure it's pinned. And there are rules and regulations to this giveaway.
The rules and regulations are: you must live... Oh, yes, drum roll. Thank you. You must live in the continental U.S. Sorry, we're not shipping overseas. We are not shipping to Alaska, and we are not shipping to Hawaii.
Because we have bitches on a budget. If we had a sponsorship, look, you could have lived in Timbuktu, or we can send it to you when you get to Mars. But you know what?
You must live in the continental U.S. And you must be 21 years of age or older.
Yes.
Do not try to get us to send you a bottle of wine if you are under 21, because that in the United States is illegal, and we are all about the law.
If we were sending you to war, you could have been 18, but you know what? We're sending you a bottle of wine.
So in order to win, this is what you must do. You must leave a comment either on YouTube, on Facebook, on Podbeans, or you can do it in a review on iTunes, and it better fucking be a good review. Do not think that you're leaving us a 1-star review and having any consideration of getting our Nole wine. It isn't happening.
Exactly.
So leave us a comment or review and tell us what has been your favorite Reels podcast thus far this year and why. And in turn, Andreen and Reels and I will each pick our top 3 best responses. And on our next podcast, we will reveal those top 3 and then randomly put all your names in, a hat, a bucket, a bowl, something, and pick a winner, and you get the wine.
Yes. Oh, also, this comment must be on this podcast, on the podcast number 7.
Do not leave a comment.
You're free to put comments on the podcast 1 to 69. Free. Please do continue to do so. However, those comments will not be in consideration. You have to put it on the podcast number 70. Okay. But I think in the case of iTunes, it doesn't work that way. You just have to put
work that way, but the reviews are dated. So we'll know. If you left a review on iTunes, we will know when you left it. And therefore, that is what it's going to qualify you for the bottle of wine.
Right. And I should just add, Janina, I'm going to have to scratch out the Facebook because it's going to be at Facebook all over the place. And I want it to be under because the Facebook link is only going to send you to YouTube or Podbean.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. So put it in the places they originally, the
so YouTube,
website.
Podbean, or iTunes. That's where you can do it. Do not send us.
It's not been open. I wouldn't drink it. I would tell you the honest truth, though. There was going to be a consolation prize, but I drank that. So, but there's only one bottle of wine. However,
that's horrible.
I know, and so I made sure I say, and I don't know if I can, I gotta do. I did a lot of strange things for this wine, people, and I don't know if my body can allow me to do it again.
We had to beg for this wine, so you better make these comments good.
So I got it just for you, and I'm stroking it, I'm touching it, just so you know that. So the real person actually touches. So some of you crazy folks can take my fingerprint. And,
nobody cares.
I would dust it. Anyway, however, if you people are on your good behavior, there might be a second bottle of alcohol, not necessarily wine, but not a bottle of alcohol for you to make yourself a drink while you're sitting back and listening to this podcast. Also, just whoever wins this bottle of wine, you must take a picture of you drinking it whenever you do. It's white wine, so it should be chilled, just so you know. And we will post it on our social media for you. Denzel, don't worry, you will be up there pretty soon.
That's cute.
All right,
that's fine.
So that's that.
Yeah, so we covered everything on the agenda, Miss Moderator. We're now entering 2 hours.
I think we did.
And folks, just don't forget, that, we are the podcast of the people. We're the Reels podcast. We are the best podcast. And we are celebrating International Podcast Day. And all the other podcasts are good. But you know what? We're just better than them all. Y'all got money too. Just saying.
Don't ever forget it.
And in case,
don't ever forget.
And in case it was unclear, Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Yes. It does matter.
Guess what?
What?
For the tournaments, Black Audience Matter.
Amen. Sister.
Asian audience matter, as you can see in Japan right now. So people of color lives matter. People, just let you know.
All right. Leave us a positive review on iTunes. We love that shit.
Yes. Comment below, okay? And don't forget, here at Reels Tennis Podcast, we keep it reals and controversial. Okay, ciao. Let's just give you more noise so you can ring out. I know you folks miss that so much. Good night.